Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to the secluded corner of the patch. The moon is high, and the shadows are deep, and before you lie yourselves down in your beds and close your eyes for the night, I invite you all to gather around the campfire for tonight's tale. It was a moonless, cold night in Victor's Hollow. The year was 1888. The air hung heavy with a sense of foreboding. Townspeople hurried through dimly lit cobblestone streets, clutching their cloaks tighter as they stole furtive glances over their shoulders. The wind whispered chilling secrets through the trees, and I couldn't help but shiver as I walked toward my small cottage at the edge of the village. I had always been an outsider in Victor's Hollow, having arrived from the bustling streets of London just over a year ago. The locals regarded me with some suspicion, whispers of my mysterious origins circulating like a macabre melody through the town's narrow alleys. Despite my best efforts to blend in, I could feel their eyes upon me all the time, their curiosity mingled with fear. Small town folk. As I approached my cottage, I noticed an eerie crimson glow emanating from the town square. My heart quickened its pace, and I followed the eerie light, my footsteps echoing in the stillness of the night. The sight that greeted me froze my blood in my veins. In the center of the square stood a figure, cloaked in shadows. His form was elongated and distorted. It was a silhouette against the crimson backdrop of the blood moon. His eyes glowed like fiery embers fixated on the townsfolk who had gathered around, their faces twisted in a mix of terror, yet also fascination. The vampire had arrived. I felt a chill run down my spine as I watched the vampire's hypnotic gaze draw the townspeople closer. His voice was like a siren's call, luring them into his grasp. With each step that they took, they seemed to lose a piece of their humanity. Their eyes became more vacant. Their movements became more sluggish, as if they were captured in some sort of trance. Myself, I wanted to turn away, to flee from this nightmare unfolding before me. But I seemed rooted to the spot. I was unable to tear my eyes away from this horror. The vampire's fangs glistened in the dim light as he leaned in, his lips brushing against the neck of his latest victim. A sickening sound of slurping echoed through the square, and I had to stifle a gag and almost vomited right there. Tears began to well up in my eyes as I realized that the townspeople were being drained of their life force, their very essence and energy being consumed by this unholy, monstrous creature. I could feel the weight of responsibility pressing down on me, a heavy burden that I could no longer ignore. Summoning all the courage that I had, I approached the square. My heart was pounding in my chest. I could hear it in my ears. The vampire's head snapped in my direction, his eyes narrowing, as though he could sense the fire that was burning within me. With a snarl, he released his current victim and advanced toward me, his fangs bared, glowing almost in the moonlight.
Who dares interrupt my feast?
His voice was a chilling whisper, sending shivers down my spine. I won't let you destroy this town, I declared, my voice stronger than what I actually felt. The vampire laughed, a sound that sent chills down my spine.
You cannot stop me, mortal. I
But I was determined to try. I reached into the folds of my cloak and I pulled out a small vial filled with a shimmering liquid. The vampire's eyes widened as he recognized the contents of this vial. It was a potent elixir, a concoction of rare herbs, ancient knowledge, and just a hint of silver. It was said to weaken even the most powerful of vampires. Don't ask me why I had it. But with a swift motion, I uncorked the vial, and I flung its contents at the vampire. He let out a blood-curdling scream that echoed through the night as the liquid made contact with his flesh, his skin sizzling and smoking. His once formidable form crumbled to the ground. I watched as he writhed on the ground in agony. Almost immediately, the townspeople snapped out of their trance. Confusion and fear began to return to their eyes, and I rushed to their side, helping them to their feet. Their gratitude was unspoken and palpable. Together, we all watched as the vampire's body disintegrated into ashes, blown away in the wind. The blood moon began to wane, its crimson glow fading into the night. As the first rays of dawn painted the horizon, a sense of hope washed over the town of Victor's Hollow. Though we had endured a night of unspeakable terror, we had also discovered the strength within ourselves to stand against this darkness. And as I watched the rising sun, I knew that the legacy of that faithful night would live on. A reminder that even in the face of the most horrifying of nightmares, the human spirit could persevere, could triumph, could survive. And that concludes our story for the night. I do hope that you've enjoyed your time here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you'd enjoyed tonight's story, or you have any requests for subjects of a future story, please comment down below. Now, if you'll excuse me, the night is still young, and there are oh so many things to discover. Sweet dreams.